Deep poaching, like simmering, submerges an item in cooking liquid, but the item cooks at a lower temperature. To poach delicately textured foods like this salmon, bring a seasoned and flavorful poaching liquid to the correct poaching temperature of 160 to 185 degrees Fahrenheit. The surface of the liquid may show some motion, sometimes called shivering. As part of the mise en place for this presentation, the vegetables are cut into small squares called a Paisan Cut. This peasant-style cut is thin enough to fully cook in the same time it takes for the salmon. Tourneed potatoes are cut and then cooked separately, since they require longer cooking time. Prepare the salmon by removing the skin and cutting into 5 to 6 ounce pieces. Always keep the fish on ice. A sautoir or rondeau is perfect for this method since you want to hold enough liquid to cover the main items. The cooking medium here is warmed fish fumet or fish stock. Add the accompanying vegetables and cook for a short time. Add the salmon to the pan carefully so the pieces don't touch. Be sure that the food is completely submerged in the liquid. If a part of the food is above the level of the cooking liquid, the cooking will be uneven and the finished product will not have the desired delicate color. Add more if necessary. Monitor and adjust the heat to maintain the proper poaching temperature throughout the process until the item is done. One way to check the cooking medium temperature is with a thermometer. Visually, you are looking for slow motion of the liquid and no bubbles from simmering. Lift the salmon carefully from the liquid and test for doneness with slight pressure. It should appear opaque and be firm to the touch. Serve immediately in a shallow bowl with the broth, vegetables, and tourneed potatoes. Top with a piece of compound dill butter for extra richness.
Okay guys, let's get started here on the demonstration, all right? We have our court bouillons, all right? You got the 2 that I asked to be set up for service here because we're going to be poaching several portions of fish at one time, okay? These should be able to accommodate about 4 portions of salmon at one time. We've got plenty of court bouillon. Make sure your rack is in the bottom so the fish is not touching the bottom where the heat source is. We've got our thermometer here on a piece of foil just so we can monitor the temperature, okay? Béarnaise, vegetables, and our starch, okay? We have our pavés of salmon. We're going to drop those in. You can lay them in or place them in with the slotted spider, okay? Don't splash, just let them float in there slowly, okay? You're going to monitor this while as they poach. You notice once the fish goes in, what happened to the temperature? It dropped, okay? So remember, controlling variable is our heat. Give me the first component we have here. What are the 3 major components of our court bouillon that we have here today? Liquid. And what could that liquid be? We use water, but what else could it be? We could use stock. What kind of stock in this case, Tony? We could use a vegetable bouillon, or we could use, since we're poaching salmon, we could use a fish stock, okay? What's next in here, Sasha?
You have aromatics.
Aromatics, okay? Did we dice them, slice them? What did we do with these aromatics?
We slice them.
Okay, and why did we slice them today?
It's a shorter cooking to
Okay.
extract more flavor.
Good. Good. We're trying to extract more flavor. Christopher, what's the main component in here? What's going to help coagulate the protein in the salmon?
Acid.
Okay, and that acid could be in the form of? What was that?
White wine or vinegar.
White wine or vinegar. Good. Okay. Monitor your salmon. Pick it up if you want occasionally. Check it. Just make sure it's not, it's staying off the bottom. That's what the rack is doing for us. Okay. And now if I didn't have this thermometer, what visual characteristics could I use to determine that the liquid is at that range of 160 to 180 degrees to poach? Rebecca?
Barely kissing the top of the little teeny bubbles. It should be kissing this.
Just coming up, okay? Sometimes you hear the word like just agitating the surface. The bubbles are in the bottom, just starting to work their way up to the sides, okay? Monitoring your temperature is very, very important. Why don't we want to boil this product? Yeah, we're going to break apart the fish, okay? This is a slow cooking method, okay? You cannot rush this. It takes a little bit of time, okay? The reason we also have 2 pots here is as we start cooking, liquid's going to get extracted from the fish into the liquid. It's going to mellow out that concentration of acid that we have in here. So we want to be careful about that too. Kind of like when we poach eggs. Okay, as water simmers, it goes from being acidic to an alkalinic on the pH scale. Alkalinic, a high alkalinic solution is going to break down the fish. So we got to make sure we keep a nice concentration of acid going here. Now we're going to cook these fish and just till they're slightly firm in the center. We want a little bit of pink. Okay, not a medium rare. Okay, a little bit of pink. Now, what you can do is what we've used before, we've talked about with fish. You can use your fingers, okay? Rare, medium, well done. We want to go between this third and second finger, a medium rare to medium doneness, okay? And as we tighten, use the different fingers, we're tightening up this muscle here on the hand. So use those as a way to evaluate. We could also pierce this. A little firm, okay? Okay, it's going to be a little bit of resistance in there, okay? You're also going to notice that the fish is going to start flaking, okay? Meaning the protein layers in between the flesh are going to start to denature and actually split apart, okay? That is another good indication, right? You're going to notice the size is going to change. It might tighten up a little bit, okay? So that's another indication as well. Okay, and ultimately we could use a thermometer, okay, but it may be a little bit difficult on a piece of fish to register a nice internal temperature. We'd have to go in this way with a thermometer. And that would be difficult to do. We'd start breaking it up. We can't go in this way. Why? Right, we have this little thermocoupler right here on the thermometer, okay? It's about 1.25 inches up. I would never get an accurate reading in the middle of the piece of fish, okay? On the vegetables, we have sweated the vegetables here. We've put our shallots in first, our leeks, our julienne zucchini, summer squash. We've thrown a few shiitake mushrooms in here, and then we have ultimately our green beans, finishing the vegetable component of this dish. When you're cooking these guys, remember, put them in order of how long they take to cook. So the shallots and leeks first, along with the mushrooms, then the green beans and the 2 squashes at the very end, okay? Then they should all be, by then they all cook evenly at the same time. Your potatoes have been cooked in salted water. We've got a little bit of the water here just to keep it moist. We're going to season with the salt, the white pepper, finish with a little bit of chopped parsley. All right, you're going to hold those on the line. Here's how we're going to set the plate up. We're using the bowl.
Do you have any fat in the potato?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any fat in the potato?
I have a little bit of butter in with the potatoes, Sasha. Okay, so my fish is just about there. Okay, just about there. I'm still getting a little bit of resistance. Monitor the time as well. For the veg, that's going to go right in the center of the plate. That's going to create our focal point. I want you to take a roasting fork, twirl the vegetables into a nest. As best as you can. We have these 3 logos that we've been using. That's where our potatoes are going to go. Use a little bit of the liquid to moisten the vegetables. Now, not all your salmon is going to cook at the same time. Feel it for firmness. I'll bring it over here where I can show you on this bottom piece where the flaking is going to start to take place. The fish will start to break apart, okay? That's what we're talking about when we start to get the flaking. You can see a little bit of pink in the center. Okay. This piece is ready to go. I didn't have a problem with cutting that piece up. We're using the slotted spider here in order to get all that excess liquid off, drain the salmon well. Second piece on top. Looking good, Chris. It's still holding. Still holding. Now, we're going to nappe a very fine line or ribbon across the salmon, referred to as a cordon. Finished with a little chopped parsley. Okay, that's how I want to present the dish today.